look, it's a very sad thing what happened, but we're going to start looking into this whole thing with who signed this legislation. Who signed legislation opening our border? I don't think he knew. I said there's nobody that could want an open border. Nobody. And now I find out that it wasn't him. He autopenned it. Who was operating the Autopen? He opened the borders of the United States.
That's a great question. The Autopen, who was operating the Autopen? And we know, take a look at the evidence that, yeah, a lot of this stuff was signed by an automatic machine. But somebody had to operate that automatic machine. Who was it? Well, we got a lot of theories, and actually, the House Oversight, they've got some names, some suspects, and they are issuing subpoenas. Let's bring in our experts, Mike Howell, Executive Director, Oversight Project at the Heritage Foundation, and Seamus Bruner, Director of Research, Government Accountability Institute. And by the way, your book, Control Oligarchs, Exposing the Billionaire Class, Their Secret Deals, and the Plot to Dominate Your Life. Yikes. All right, we'll get back to that in a second. Mike, first to you. Do you sense real momentum here in, the Autopen scandal? It came out, I think Heritage, you guys promoted it, you guys enlightened us, and then it kind of went away, and now it's back.
Yeah, that's exactly right. A couple months ago, we dropped the bombshell findings that the Autopen device was in absolute overdrive and in control of the White House, and it's snowballed from there. There have been several disclosures from us since then, but now it's at the top of the government. You have President Trump weighing in. You have U.S. Pardon Attorney Ed Martin, who's naming names and reviewing this. And then you also have Capitol Hill getting in on the fight. Chairman Comer is calling in people for interviews. They're going to figure out who was running the White House. And then we also just sued the Department of Justice again yesterday to try to get some logs and papers surrounding, any opinions they might have had on the use of the Autopen.
So let me ask you, Seamus, and whatever you want to say, by the way, but my understanding is Autopens are used by presidents. There's not necessarily a formal, rule against it. However, if somebody does something without the knowledge of the White House and takes money for it, that's obviously a crime, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And Autopens have been used for a while, but not in the same fashion that Joe Biden used it. I mean, he was out to lunch, he was on vacation, and his staff was running the White House. So I applaud the Oversight Project for figuring this out. I mean, the things that he signed, the pardons, especially for all of his family members, there's never been anything like this. So this is anything but normal.
And by the way, I'm looking at it, and you know what? Some of these pardons, boy, oh boy, they're very happy they have the pardons. Anthony Fauci. And there it is. And also some of these Autopen, by the way, we checked. But then again, look, I figured he'd want to give those. I don't know. Why would he do the Autopen for his family members? I mean, why wouldn't he just, do you have a theory on that one, Mike? I mean, I don't think it was some staff guy's idea to give his family pardons. That was coming from Joe, right?
So it was at least for Hunter, because he spoke about the Hunter Biden pardon, and he did that on a different date, and the signature on that looks very different than the Autopen signature. The final day's pardons, which covered, his family members, are a totally different story. And I'm not even sure those things are pardons. They're basically suspending the operation of law for a long period of time for any crimes ever committed. No one's ever done anything like that before, but you have to understand a lot of people were lobbying for these things. There's a lot of intertwined interests and money that changed hands. And so there are some people that also did not get pardons that lobbied for them. Think about Vindman and some others there. And so I think deals were cut, and I don't think Joe Biden in his current state, or the state of that time, was consenting to who got what and what the specific terms of those fake pardons were.
I want to get you guys on the big, beautiful bill. All right. It passed, and I know it's got to go through this, that, and the other thing in the Senate. But Speaker Johnson was thrilled. President Trump, very happy. D05, if you don't mind. D05.
On this vote, the yeas are 215, the nays are 214, with one answering present. The bill is passed.
All right, and half the crowd goes wild. $5 trillion. The Reader's Digest: $5 trillion in tax cuts for workers, seniors, businesses. $69 billion towards the border wall, deportation. $900 billion. I don't know if that's actually accurate. Seamus, what do we need to know about this thing? Do you like it?
Yeah, well, we're still going through it. I mean, any spending increases we're not fans of, but it's a smart idea to get everything done via budget reconciliation through the big, beautiful bill, because it's, it's going to get tough with midterms coming up to get anything else done. So I'm a big fan of the border wall spending, and we'll see how it goes.
Mike Howell, yeah, right? I mean, this is, it's definitely a work in progress. And some people, I think, are mischaracterizing the Medicaid situation. Cut, not a cut. I don't see it that way. Mike, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are this is probably the best that President Trump could have gotten out of a bunch of, frankly, Democrats that pretend to be Republicans in the House of Representatives. That's what this exercise is really about, pushing them to the political limits. And so, of course, there are a lot of improvements I would have liked to see, but the practical reality is there's a very slim majority and a lot of people who say one thing on the campaign trail just want to serve special interest in D.C. I would have liked to see more funding for mass deportations, but it's a big investment. Will it get us to the millions that were promised? I'm not exactly sure. I want to see those numbers get up. I know the administration wants those numbers up, so that's where my eyes are. But let's just be honest. There's a lot of Democrats pretending to be Republicans in Congress that held a lot of the legislation back.
Mike Howell, thank you. The website, itsyourgov.org. Itsyourgov.org. Great website. And Seamus Bruner, SeamusBruner.com. I wish I could get my name like that. I mean, somebody bought it. You know how they do that? They buy your name and then you got to pay them like whatever they want, and it's a big hassle. You guys are great. Seamus and Mike, thank you very much.